demarcation, and they fought tribes all the way across the land to set their structures up using our major cities. None of these major cities is
Oh no,
new
I
like
know
they
that.
trying to make them out to be. Jean-Baptiste de Sable did not discover Chicago. Chicago is ancient. It was always there. New York is ancient. Them tribes in New York, they one of some of the best tribes you will meet until you get on their bad side, and then they're the worst tribes you want to run across because they will leave you floating in the Hudson Bay or whatever the hell that
Yep.
river that run through there is.
Yep.
They will leave your ass floating in there if you get too out of hand. But right now, we had to educate ourselves out of the condition. So that tied their hands from ousting the colonizers from New York because they have to educate themselves too. This is what the cause of the Harlem Renaissance wasn't just the music and the dance and the nightlife. It was also education. It was the introduction of Arthur Schomburg teaching the brothers in the five boroughs the history that they were being denied in the institutions of this country.
Okay, okay. So what about okay, as far as with the people with the when they talk about the Trail of Tears, right? Like on my mom's side, my people been in like in Bolingbrook, Morrow County, Smar, Georgia. They've been in that area since who like 1850 something. And they never left. So when people say we were slaves and we all left and with the Trail of Tears and stuff like that, my people been in the same area, they never left. Like, and well, with my grandmother, she always said this was our land anyway.
That's why the South have the largest concentration of us and had
Mm,
nothing to do with slavery. All of our family
yeah.
farms was in the South. And the tribes across the land would make pilgrimages back to help harvest the crops and to stock up canned goods, to butcher the animals to be sent out to the families for the area where they have food. It was a co-op. Everything was a cooperative, and this is what the colonizers
Yeah.
broke up when they came. We trying to get the people to wake up enough so that we can reinstitute the family farm co-ops. So you got them teenage boys that don't got nothing to do. They can't gonna be hanging on the corner because they got to go down at harvest time and help pick the
Yep.
goddamn food for the year. The grocery stores are not gonna be here. They're gonna be gone because the GMO foods is gonna be gone. The grocery stores was the way to get GMO foods into the mainstream dietary program to kill us off
Mm-hmm.
faster. They want us to die so early that we don't wake up to who we are. And this is why they promote what they call black on black violence and all of that stuff is the faster we die, the less likely we are to recall who we are before death and assert our jurisdictional birthright to restore the land back to the matriarchy, back to the mothers of the country, the mothers of the land. The heritable birthrights comes through mitochondrial DNA. The women of America's mitochondrial DNA can be traced right back down into that Mississippi clay dirt or that Amazonian clay dirt. It don't matter which side of the Gulf you go. We still have that continuous um, existence all the way around that fertile
Mm-hmm.
crescent called the Gulf. Our bloodline spring from that crescent. That's what your crescent moon is in Islam. It symbolizes the fertile crescent. The moon is the clock for planting harvest based off the menstrual
Mm-hmm.
cycles of the women. So the woman can use her menstrual cycle to tell you better when harvest coming than goddamn using almanac. She got to be in tune with
But
herself though.
see, that was like with my great grandma. My great grandma, she died in what 2014, and she was 105. So she lived by that almanac.
Yeah. So they told us that Benjamin Banneker was the first one to write an almanac. We didn't have to write it. We had it memorized.
It was in the energy. We felt it. We knew when it was time to do what we needed to do.
Yeah. So what we call the Sybil effect, when women start sinking, they're gonna sink to harvest time. Most of the babies, when the babies start being born for the upcoming year, they're gonna be born around either planting season or harvest season. Babies is normally born when the food is gonna be bountiful.
More nutrition.
Right. So the women, so the ovulation will sync to the environment, and then that'll tell us what the weather gonna be. We can tell by the number of women mid-term. We'll know how to calculate harvest from that. When the most of them is mid-term around the same time, we know that these women supposed to give birth at harvest time or right around harvest time. So you got, let's say 60% of the women due to give birth between June and August. We know that the harvest is going to have to take place sometime between June and August.
Baby, so I kind of felt that.
Yeah, but it's all being, the women used to be so in tune with their body and the earth at the same time that Big Mama wake up and she'd say, you know what, Big Papa, we need to get them planting. And all of the wives across the country start packing bags for lunch for sending the kids that's gonna help harvest the food to go for harvest. They don't know. Big Mama ain't picked up their phone, called nobody. But y'all was that in tune to earth and to body self that y'all automatically knew when Big Mama said harvest was coming up. You felt it so strong, you just automatically knew what to do. We didn't got so disconnected from our culture that we forgot about that stuff because we depended on all of the technological advancements to override our intuition and our natural ability to read the land by how we feel.
I didn't forget. I'm a country girl, so I mean, I've been driving tractors since I was like 7, 8 years old. I know how to drive tractors, I know how to drive, operate bush hogs and backhoes and track hoes and all that. I know how I love to fish. So I'm on mine. I don't know about nobody else's, but I'm on mine. I love nature, so that's a good thing.
You gonna have to,
but I wanna thank you for allowing me to grace the stage, and it's a lot of other stuff I want to get back in with you with, but I don't think I need to talk about it around a lot of people. But
well, just inbox me and I'll tell you what to do.
Gotcha. Gratitude and love and light, babe. You
all right, thank you, sweetie. I'll talk to you later. Yeah, it's an old country girl. Rambo. You know, Fairkind generally give a report either through the final call or one of the ministers about the Nation of Islam farms, and they are setting up a lot of stuff to sell us our own produce, bypassing the GMO big pharma. Make sure if y'all ask to come up that y'all check, cause I'm definitely trying to let y'all come up. Aaron. Yep. When we had cultural festivals, we used to send delegations to the islands for their big mama, and we take large sums of our produce that they don't generally grow in the islands, and then they big mama would send us back island delicacies that we didn't normally grow on the mainland. So everybody got different foodstuffs that we used to trade in out of just basic respect, and it had nothing to do with economics. All food trade now is tied to economics, but our food was tied toward family bonding and displays of unity among the clans. I think everybody should have a community garden if it's possible. Some cities don't allow them. They got because they don't want you growing no food that they don't control and poison. But we all need community gardens. People need to have gardens. Okay, so that one didn't come up. OG right here. Make sure y'all checking if y'all actually come up because I'm sending them on Facebook doing that.
Yeah. Hey man, dropping it tonight. Woo, thank you. As always.
Yes, sir.
You know, we squeegee in this joint right here, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And this too, man. How you pointed out that just check out the economic situation of, you know, those living on the reservations. You can tell how the government feels about them and that they whose side they're on, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of stuff in unity with the Jewish woman who was given. So thank you for that, man. Always present a perspective to move us forward, man. Just, you know, it's always an honor, you know.
You ever see the protests of the missing Native girls and they got the red hand painted on their face?
Yes.
Symbol of the bloody hand that stole the women.
Hmm.
Same bloody hand, the black hand, the same motherfuckers. Same. They was fighting them like we was fighting them. They didn't come over here voluntarily. They was forced over here. Same way they told you Africans was brought over here. The Africans wasn't brought over here. Those was Mongolians, Vedics, and Huns that formed these secondary tribes, these ceremonial tribes. We can't be going to war with them because we just taken away from the extended power base that we can be using by embracing each other. They came to help us. And
extended power base.
If you don't pay attention to the economics and where the government is, who the government is giving money to, you don't know your enemy from your ally. And now you're attacking your ally thinking he's the enemy.
That's right. So, you know, even how you pointed it out with the Mexicans, that was a master class on knowing when is the race and racism and pointing out really the confusion, because it's easy to give over the hate and the narrative, like, you know, the Mexicans.
When they got us thinking that we victims, right? Anybody else that's being victimized don't hurt worse than me.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna fight them for telling me about their victimization because I'm gonna feel like they saying that their victimization is more important than mine is. So this gonna automatically make us in a conflict. But the reality is the victim is the victim. No matter what make them the victim is they didn't want to be. As long as they don't want to be, right? Then and they being forced to do something they don't want to do, that make them victims too.
True.
Right? We telling the Mexicans they illegal immigrants for coming back to Mexico. California is part of Mexico. Nevada, right? Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, what is it, Utah? All that was part, not Utah, Oklahoma, I think. But all of that was part of Mexico until they annexed it. The U.S. corporation annexed it after the Mesoamerican War. Most people don't even know America fought a war with Mexico.
Yeah, you poked a hole in the slave narrative. I think it was on Unscrambled Minds when you went into the fallacy of Juneteenth.
Well, you got to remember, they declared Juneteenth from Texas. Texas didn't have slavery at the time they declared Juneteenth. Texas was Mexico at the time.
Yeah.
They had already been outlawed slavery in Mexico long before Juneteenth.
Right. And it was our culture for already the barbecue and whatnot, just to make money off of it. So
the whole Juneteenth is the hijacking of a cultural phenomenon and that gave us something called a pit master.
hmm.
The pit master was cooking in the fire pits. They say that somebody else brought us barbecue. BS. We've been barbecuing longer than barbecue been here.
That's right. Yeah, I learned how to
We invented
barbecue hogs from my great uncle. You know what I'm saying? And my uncle Buck. Build a pit out of cinder blocks, And he always said the secret was the earth, because you just use charcoal in the earth. Man, just with salt, no barbecue sauce on it or nothing, man, that was some of the best meat I've ever had in my life. I'll never forget that. But it's
all of our
always
culture's still here. They monetized the parts of our culture they couldn't purge. They monetized it. Thanksgiving is not a European holiday. Black Friday is a European celebration of a mass slaughter. But the Thanksgiving Day celebration is a tribal celebration that long predated Columbus. That's why they call it a pagan holiday. Everything that they call pagan mean that it goes back to Pangea.
Look into it a little bit more. There's something hidden in there that he hiding from us. Yeah.
Look, and we used to have corn festivals. The corn festival was the most celebrated of the harvests, and everybody didn't grow the same. Corn didn't look alike. You had the priestesses of Oshun grew the golden corn. That was it. The other people grew ruby corn, what they call Indian corn. They had the purple corn. Different kinds of corn that they made different dishes out of. This is why when you look at Southwestern cuisine, you see most of it is fresh vegetables chopped up with some kind of liquid binding agent like a salad dressing or a vinaigrette. Some of them might use lemon juice or whatever, like in salsas and whatnot. Some of them simmer them down. That's because they was canning them, but the fresh was the best ones.
Got a question for you, Chief. When Donald Trump signed the executive order recognizing the Lumbee from North Carolina, what did that signify? And tell us about the moves that he's making for, like you say, on the cover of the continuity government for FEMA, that it includes tribal participation in what we're seeing. Because like just in my mindset, am I right that I don't need federal, or we don't need federal recognition to exist? So what is that? What was being said in that move?
So when you got to remember, everything Trump doing is to undo the corporation.
Right.
The recognition of the Lumbee tribe, they've been fighting both the real Lumbee tribe. I forgot what that brother name is, but you seen he about my complexion, and then he be having his face painted red and black. He the real Lumbee chief.
You talking about? Okay, I got you. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
He's the real Lumbee chief. He's the one. If you're gonna recognize the Lumbee tribe, you got to go talk to him.
Right.
Any other Lumbee tribe is either ceremonial or imposters. But in the recognition of the right Lumbee tribe, and they also having discussions about Cherokee tribes too, because the Cherokees is really a group of tribes. This is why they all got different heritable claims, because they all come from different tribes that they inherit their birthright from. The government is aware of everything that I'm saying. It's just that they don't want us to know it and talk about it openly in the public like this, because it what they call put salt in their game. I'm trying to make it so salty and bitter that they can't take it no more.
Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. I hear you. All right, all right. And then one more question, and let somebody else get up there. And there's always an honor, man, to listen to you do what you do.
Where my boy at?
Oh, he up in there, man. He worked a 12-hour shift. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of dark. He's just sitting in the dark, probably talking to his lady.
What up,
you know
Chief?
what I'm saying? Yeah.
What's going on with you, Chief?
Hey, man.
And step on in here, so can you, like, I'm showing up on the screen, but here he is right here.
Yeah, I can't see Jack over here, but the people can see y'all.
Okay, yeah, that's my son.
I
my
can't
prince
call
right
it.
here.
I'm just sitting
Yeah,
here with Big Mo.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I
that's my man right there.
I told him,
I'm proud
look,
of
hey, I told your pops, I said, tell him to stick his head under that chick arm and don't come out till this shit over.
That's right.
No, I'm
He's
sitting in
listening
there.
too.
I was about to say, I'm sitting in there listening to every word, man. That night, I don't know if you remember the night that y'all got on the phone, maybe about 2-3 weeks ago. It was real late, and I was already in bed, and I started to go listen to some Dr. York, but then I heard your voice, and his phone loud, so, and then you got a deep voice, so it travels, so it was kind of like I had you in my right ear, and I had Doc in my left ear. And I was like, man, let me go ahead and see what Rod's talking about. So I paused it, and I was like, damn, them motherfuckers been on the phone for a minute, but you was dropping jewels. So I was just laying in my bed just listening, damn, he know what the fuck going on.
Yeah.
So thank you. Like he said, man, like you couldn't have worded that better, Dad, just how much of an honor it is to listen to the information that you present. Like, I don't take that shit for granted, yo. Like, the way that you present it with that same little flair of like knowing exactly what you're talking about, but then know how to make it sound funny, sound cool, all at the same time. That shit's a blessing to see. So thank you for everything, man. And I can't wait till this shit over with, man. Like I say, I just be trying to use my third eye to see motherfuckers like you and Doc just sitting back, relaxing, yo. Like, you know what I'm saying? All the kids running around, some good food getting cooked up, all this bullshit comes to an end. That's why I try and use my mental projection for it. So I can't wait to see that come to fruition.
Oh, you gotta do what?
Sitting under that chick arm until this shit over with.
You got some good orders.
Yeah, for real. No doubt.
Hey, look, I can't wait till it's my turn to rest on some breasts.
Yeah. I'm probably
like that's in the West. These niggas is a mess.
That's right. That's right. Living heavy.
It seemed overdue, man. When this shit gonna pop?
It's popping. It ain't popping as fast as I want it to. And probably if it ain't moving fast enough for me, then it's not moving fast enough for most people. But we watching it being dismantled, it's being done in our face, and ain't no secret.
Yeah.
One of the things they had to find is, okay, you said that we had this much money. Where the money at? Show me the money. So Elon said, don't worry about it. Trump, can I go show them what these people did with the money? He said, go right on ahead, Elon. Just don't do nothing I don't tell you to do. So they sent him in there. Now they're telling us where all the money, and all the Democrats are having full-fledged nervous breakdown that they being audited for the first time since they've been there. Ain't nobody decided to audit them but Donald J. I wonder why that is.
That's the truth.
You got to catalog all of your resources and assets in order to liquidate the bank.
Liquidate. That's right. That's right.
Remember, the Pope called all the money back in 2020.
Yeah, that's right.
And he been got out the game.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Right in front of our faces. You said Babylon failed. That's the truth.
Yeah, you remember this song by the Ghetto Boys called "Money in the Power"?
No, I don't think I heard that. I'm gonna check it out though.
You gotta listen to it.
No boy. Money. What is it called again?
Money in the Power.
Money in the Power. I'm gonna check that out. But the other question I wanted to ask, one of the last things that with the Biden administration was the release of Leonard Peltier, I think is how you pronounce his last name, from the AIM, and I want to say it was at Wounded Knee,
He
right?
out of Florida. They say he had shot them feds.
Okay, right. What was the I thought that was, he did, like Joe Biden did that, like with hours left for him to walk out of the office or whatever. What did that signify to us? And
That's
you know,
another
what did you see in
one.
that?
That's another one of the chiefs being put back on the land.
All right.
And he a good example of what I'm talking about, knowing your allies versus knowing your enemies.
Right.
Leonard Peltier, he look Hispanic, but he native.
Right.
And he been fighting just as hard as any other liberation fighter in our community against the same enemy. Right? We forget 1975, the feds full-fledged raided the reservation, had a shootout with the tribe. We be forgetting about that kind of stuff because we want what's ours, and we don't want to be short-stopped. But we can't cut our enemies off, I mean our allies off, and throw them in the pile with the enemy, because without them, you wouldn't have been successful.
Right.
You ever see my man with Farrakhan say, if you walk into any mosque in America, first person, third person, fifth person, you lay your hand on them, and you lay your hand on a Native American.
That's right. I want to say he was at a Navajo Nation when he was.
Yeah. He looked Hispanic.
True.
But he ain't.
Yeah, I've seen that interview.
And he's telling us not to fall for the slave bullshit.
Yeah, it was deep what you pointed out with Harriet Tubman. That was real deep. Had to let that sink in. You know what I'm saying? Because I know the quote. That's a real skillful little twist on things right there. I could have freed a whole bunch more, y'all, and they just know that it was slaves.
They gave us all these fictional heroes.
Right.
But as long as we worshiping the fictional heroes as the actual people that was performing the function, we ain't gonna never investigate and find out who was the real people fighting for our freedom. They manufacture our heroes. So Tupac is more of a hero than fucking Al Sharpton. Right. He did more for us than Al Sharpton did.
A known informant. My dad tried to send me like a little video because I didn't participate in voting, right? I haven't for a while. But I still, you know, I'm aware of what's going on politically, the characters being put before us. So he sent me this video. So I sent him back a picture, and it's like the snapshot of the article where he was working with the FBI. Dick Gregory goes into it, you know? And then the pictures that I believe he was a part when he went down to Tom Ray. They got pictures of him and Jesse Jackson walking down there with Malachi. You know what I mean? So
look, lucky I wasn't down there. I told him, run them niggas out of here. Them niggas down here looking for information.
Yeah, man. The one, like he would, Dick Gregory says that on the balcony, that picture was staged. You know, how you gonna be sitting there pointing instead of I'm standing there next to somebody and they get popped, we gonna scramble. I'm scrambling. You know, I ain't gonna be in that picture. And everybody's pointing like that, you know.
All you gotta do is go back to Instagram and TikTok. Picture worth 1,000 words. These niggas posing for pictures, filming crimes, all kind of stuff for views. And it's the same thing back then. They wanted to look like they was doing some important work, and all the time they exposing themselves as the traitors.
Right. So, hey, man, I just thank you, man, for who you are, Chief. And it's amazing to watch all of this unfold. You know, and a lot of times I find myself not being in fear, uncertainty, and doubt because of, you know, our scholars on the land who have, you following the assignment to the T to educate yourself out and us, bring us with you out of this condition. So thank you, my brother. That's a lot of damn information, books, you know. That you done got.
Me and my mama had a conversation one time, and I told my mom, I don't mind being rich, but I don't want to be rich by myself. She said, why you say that? I said, because when you rich by yourself, that's the loneliest place to be because you can't trust nobody.
Wow.
I say, but when you rich with a family, a whole team, y'all rich together, y'all can laugh and joke and let your guard down with each other.
That's right. That's
You
right.
can't do that if you get rich by yourself and you become an island of man in the midst of men. You can't do that because you're going to always have motherfuckers resentment and people looking to take what you got. You have to know that if you want to win, the best way to win is to bring many people across the finish line as possible with you.
That's right.
And that way that it'll be enough grateful people around you that the ungrateful won't even matter.
Wow.
And they're going to show themselves faster and more blatantly because the selfishness, the people that care, going to be like, get that selfish motherfucker away from the chief.
So it's better to be loved than feared. And that pose
No,
in Machiavelli?
no, that's some bullshit.
Okay.
It's
That's the
better,
question posed, though, right?
right? But the correct answer is it's better to be respected. Respect
Ah,
is a
right.
thin
Word,
line.
yeah, right. Wow, I like that. That's right, my man. Yeah, I like it. Okay, I'm listening.
So now, out of respect, they don't have to fear you. And from the side of the love, all they want to do is honor you because you're respectable.
All right.
Yeah.
They don't gotta fear you because they respect you, right? And the love, the honor.
This is one of the things that we have to teach the boys. If you carry yourself in a respectable manner, you are least likely to be disrespected. People respect the respectable and they disrespect the disrespected. You got to know if you don't have the character, then you can't expect to produce the quality. Authenticity, yes. Yep, Kalila. Authenticity, be genuine. Don't fake it for nobody. Be who you is, loud and clear. You know, lead with love, but master the throat punch. And don't forget. Sometimes, look, sometimes you gotta fuck a motherfucker up to do what's right.
Push that snot box back. Yeah, yeah, I got that. I took that one. Yeah. That's right.
Just because I love everybody don't mean I'm gonna carry my 45. Because everybody ain't gonna love me.
No.
I done already been proved that. Yeah. This is why they take discipline out the home, Kalila, because good character is taught at home first. And this is how you take that good character out in the world and you raise your status among the other tribes. If you ain't taught good character at home, when you go out to get your blessings from the other tribes across the land, you're going to get shot down. We don't want you to be no chief, nigga. You a rotten motherfucker.
Right? Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that. No, nah, man. You know, but the mentality, man. I never understood, like you say, what you told your mom, which was beautiful, man. Is not to share. Like if I got some good candy, right, and you hear, I'm like, hey, Rod, man, you need to try a piece of this chocolate. It's delicious, man. You know what I'm saying? Or something, And now we both enjoying it together. You like, damn, Reese, this is some good ass chocolate. Where you get this from? We smiling and laughing that instead of I just want to eat all the chocolate my damn self. Man, get confirmation on it. Damn, yeah, I never never quite understood that frame of reference to be selfish.
But people generally are selfish with good shit.
How you mean?
If the food tastes good, they less likely to want to share it. It's a unique individual that is so good. Your food be so good, they be like, man, you gotta taste this.
Yeah. yeah, this shit good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But you just think 1,000 times somebody come around, we'll give you some, but it's too good, stop eating.
Yeah. Nah, man, you can enjoy, you laugh, you know what I'm saying? Talk about it as a story to talk about with your friend later on, you know, or
Look,
somebody. So,
if
yeah,
your
man.
woman got some good coochie, you don't want your homeboys around
Well,
them.
no, maybe that rule don't apply to everything.
You know, and they might
That'd
not
be
even be thinking
good.
about it like that, but you know how good it is, and you don't want them to have none.
Yeah, no. Like I teach my son, man, you don't go around telling everybody about your woman and what you do. You know what I'm saying? My
And
daddy
that's a
taught me that.
two-way street too.
What's that now? Oh yeah, a woman
Real
too. My
women.
daughter.
Look,
I
real
tell
women
my daughter
don't
the
want to tell
same.
no. They don't want the other women to know if their man lay that thing down.
Yeah, showing pictures and stuff. No,
But
you keep that. My
they
daddy
don't
taught me
want.
that.
They don't want to. They don't want that their girlfriend to be like, "Ooh, let me
Yeah,
go try."
yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, so maybe yeah, that share thing does have a limit on some things. Yeah,
It takes exceptional character to want to share what's good. They even go with money. People will lend you $20, but they won't give it to you. Fall out with you because you can't pay them back when they want you to. Normally,
right.
they're not going to even ask for it back until they realize that they didn't spend all what they had. Now they got to, oh, so and so owe me $20. Let me call them. Why you ain't asking for it last week when y'all was standing there and you was showboating because you had got your little check and you wanted to buy everybody dinner and you seen him with that wad of money, but now both of y'all ain't got it. You mad because he ain't got it when you ain't got it. Look, my old dude told me don't put good money on top of bad money. What that mean? That mean
Don't
that
put good money.
if you
I'm
lend him
missing.
motherfucker $20 and he come back and he ain't paid you, you can't give him no money till he pay you back. Right? If you go to the Bronx tell the old man told the youngsters about the guy that kept running from him about his $20, he said, let him have it.
Yeah.
Because you just bought him out of your life for $20. You ain't got to deal with him no more.
Yeah, my dad pretty much gave it to me like that too. You know what I'm saying? But at the
Look,
same time,
Oprah gave me a jewel too. She say, if you can afford to lend it to him, you can afford to give it to him. If you can't afford to give it to him, you can't afford to lend it to him.
yeah, that's wise. Yeah, that's a jewel right there to carry and to live by.
Yeah,
Run into a lot less headache.
like if somebody asks me to borrow some money, I say you can have it. If you give it back, it's a blessing. But if you don't, I'm not gonna stress it.
Right.
Either I got it to give you. If I don't got it to give you, I don't have it to lend you. And that's the number one reason why a lot of people fall out. That lending and borrowing money. Don't give somebody something you can't stand to lose. Period. If they ask you for $100 and you can afford to give them $100, give it to them. Don't lend it to them. You create bad relationships like that.
Man,
we got enough bad relationships as it is
already. Wow. Yeah, that's part of them damn money magic right there. You know, man, look at wow. Never looked at it.
You know what I mean? When gratitude and reciprocity kick in, if you gave somebody something that was in need because you had it, it's gonna come back to you in increments of 10. You don't know what it's gonna look like when it come back, but you might be walking and give somebody $10 today, and then your cousin call you and say, "Hey man, I'm moving. I got an extra car, man. You want it?" You understand what I'm saying? Stuff like that happens. But because we've been taught to have this victim mentality, impoverished, lack mentality, we won't open up the channels of reciprocity and gratitude that allows stuff that we put out to come back to us in increments. Selfishness.
Amen. Thank you for the jewels, man. I'm all ears, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you drop down, man. Pull somebody else up. I'm probably gonna take 2 more before I wrap it up.
Hey, boom. Hey, you in there? Right up here.
Tell a friend, like the Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
The Brady Bunch. So Mr. Rod Hayes, I want to introduce, everybody knows you already, but I always like to give you an introduction. And I always like to kind of get deep into like who you really are. You know what I mean? Because let me just get some gossip off the table. Rod, can I do that?
Let's go. Let's get some
Can I release
gossip off the table.
can I release the Kraken?
Release the Kraken. Release the Kraken.
For those, there's some ladies, Rod, that like to write me about you. And they seem to think that me and you are doing a rodeo. You know what I mean? We're doing a tango. And they're mad at me because they say that you like women. I think they prefer you like men. So can you validate that you're a man that likes, that is
I'm
a
a whole
healthy.
man. I love women. And me and Flo Burn ain't never been in the same room at the same time in real life.
That's what I'm saying. Stop accusing. Just because we talking doesn't mean everything is about that life. You know what I mean? You can't even have a conversation nowadays, Rod. It's like God darn. I know
I
everybody's a
almost said
trans.
some real grown gutter in the street stuff right then.
We
I
gonna
was
keep
close.
listen. We gonna keep it PG, but if we gotta go there, we gotta go there. So I just want to tell you, very wicked, very low vibrational females, stop it already. If you have a crush on Rod, write him. Stop writing me. Stop being a
No, don't
hate.
write me. Don't write me because I don't got time for it right now. Don't write me. I ain't got time for it right now. I'm trying to free our people.
He
And
told he told you all not to contact him. Leave me alone. I told you I'm a trans frog, and now Trump won't let me be that anymore. I told you, you know that, right? I'm a trans, uh, homosexual, gay, white, Jewish man. I just wanted to come out of the closet, but now Trump won't let me be that. He said there's only two genders. Even though he's orange, he's not letting me be who I truly think I am or believe I am with my mental illness. So I just want to put that on the table.
look, people, when they don't know where your sources of light from, they try to dim it and they use the most poorest quality of demeaning methods.
Mhm.
Like stuff that don't even make sense.
Sure.
They can recognize everybody except they celebrities, they famous cross-dressing celebrities that they think
Hello.
men and women. They can't recognize them.
No, no.
They get hard or mad you call one of them cross-dressers a cross-dresser.
Oh, they get mad, you know. Now the passports have to say their real sex. You know that, right? They're having conniptions right now that when they're going to get their passports, it actually designates the sex that they were born with. They're very upset, Rod.
Well, they shouldn't change what God gave them. They
Ooh,
wouldn't have a reason to be upset.
I know that's right. When keeping it real is keeping it real. Anyway, so Rod, we're gonna wait until we get to 500. So let me dive deep, Rod. So Rod, where are you originally from? Where you from? Where you roll? Where you come from? Where you be?
I was born in Cook County Hospital on November the 10th, 1968.
Ooh,
We stayed in Chicago for a while. Then we moved to Michigan because my father got a job working as an auto worker.
that's right. The automobile industry was big then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we stayed in Pontiac for a while. Then we had a family crisis. We ended up moving back to Chicago
Mhm.
and we stayed there for a little while. Then my mother relocated with the children to Grand Rapids, which is 2 hours northwest of um, Pontiac.
I heard it's really pretty there, Grand
Yeah,
Rapids. Yeah.
we used to love Grand Rapids when we lived there. I still love Grand Rapids. It's a nice city to be in,
Yeah.
especially now that a lot of this generation that's coming up now, they colorblind.
They can. They
They,
can
they
enjoy
don't.
it. Everybody can be together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
In the 80s, a lot of people don't know after the Vietnam War in the 80s, they
Mhm.
brought a whole lot of Vietnamese to the Americas that was helping the military.
Hmm.
And they have a sizable community of them that was relocated up around Grand Rapids.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. One of my best friends is Vietnamese. Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't see color until they got here.
Oh yeah, color doesn't exist. Well, isn't it more of a political status? You know what I mean?
It's
And
it's a military doctrine.
mhm.
It's
And
it's it's designed to separate groups of people so they're more controllable.
absolutely control. And don't you, and we kind of talked about before that the indigenous people that are brown copper skinned people like yourself and myself were originally here, and that they kept redesignating their status, their status, like as first they were Negro, then they were colored, then Black, something like that, and then African American,
Well,
to kind of take away their rights to who their original indigenous status in the United States.
well, you can't take somebody's stuff. Like if you live it in your house, I can't just move in there without moving you out.
Well, you could.
You about to get some more hate mail. But look, people can't do that. You can't come to somebody else's land that's inviting everybody in the world. America before Columbus came had an open door policy.
That's right. Absolutely.
All we invited all of the orphans of the world. That's why in our families that's been here for the longest, you got all skin colors and hair textures,
Yeah. And
and they don't.
blood types.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and they don't always match up. Like you might have a chocolate brown sister with blonde hair naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody be like, look at her. She want trying to be white. She dyed her hair. She dyed her hair.
No. You see it in Brazil all the time. Brazil is like the mirror to what we are here, to be honest. Like the multiculturalism, the different complexions, but they still have a lot of, racism over there.
Yeah. And well, they got colorism.
Mhm, mhm.
Colorism. The colorism was the tool used to force the people to amalgamate with the settlers that came.
Yeah.
They got a term. The term is called Brazilianization.
Mhm.
And what it means is when the melding pot is melding and you blending all of the ethnic groups together and you finally get a successful blend, they are Brazilianized now,
That's right. Because that's where
right?
my people came from originally, like the northern part of Brazil and French Guyana, which is Cayenne. And that's what they did. They were just harmonic, and the French, well, actually people don't think, they think it's mostly Portuguese that went over there. It's actually a lot of Italians. Rome didn't dissipate. It just relocated to South America.
It
But
expanded.
mhm, mhm.
Everywhere that the Catholic Church has a presence, it's a Roman presence.
Absolutely.
Rome became the Catholic Church in order to sidestep the political drama.
Hmm.
They control Democrats, Republicans, socialists, communists. All
Jesuit.
that's all that's controlled. Those political parties is controlled, or political ideologies is controlled through Rome. The Republic was discussed on the Senate floors in ancient Rome, and this is where Plato get his Plato's Republic. And they talked about the styles of government way back then, and they was trying to find one that would work on large groups of people from different backgrounds.
Mhm.
So when they told us Alexander conquered the world, he didn't literally conquer the world. He found the scrolls of government in the Indus Valley in the mountains of Tibet, which tells them how to govern over mass groups of people from varying backgrounds and what to control in order to not have to micromanage individuals.
Sure. And
Right. So,
they had a genetic understanding that some people were sensitive to sugar and alcohol as well.
yeah.
Mhm.
If you go back to the Aztec um, paintings, you see that they was taking alcohol enemas. They was preparing for somebody to bring alcohol over here
Mhm. Mhm.
because it wasn't a common staple to the people over here. We wasn't alcoholics.
That's right.
We
And
didn't need it. We didn't need something called escapism to cope with life. We
just like
live life, and that's
yeah,
how we cope.
absolutely. And also just with my genetic background, bees are hypersensitive to sugar, and they had an understanding that the indigenous here had a sensitivity, didn't have an enzyme. So what is perceived to be addiction to alcohol is just an allergy that has a really good feeling. So bees are hypersensitive to it. And we know we have a high concentration of A bees in the United States and throughout Central and South America. So, having an understanding of someone's genetic makeup, like you said, being able to study and know how different groups react to certain kind of social ideology or type of control systems helps, because you can control them. If you can't control them from the outer perimeters, you can control them from the inner.
The most functional, you ever see Drink Champs?
What is it? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's an ancient cultural phenomenon. When we used to use the peace pipe and the herb, but
Yes.
when the settlers came, we started using alcohol
Mm,
in negotiations so we can
yeah,
find out what they really want.
yes, yes. I've heard that. Yes.
Yeah. So the Drink Champs was the retread of the powwow circle when we smoked the herb, because you can't sit there and smoke herb with somebody and then they sit there and tell you a bald-faced lie without knowing they lying,
That's right.
right? But they say a drunk man speak what?
The truth.
A sober man,
Of the mind. Yes, yes.
right? So they say if you want the truth, listen to babies and drunk folks.
That is so true. You'll always get the truth from the young and the old, right? And
The
you know what's
young and the drunk.
interesting too? I know we're not supposed to say it online, but I really don't. Yes.
Nicotine is a nootropic.
Hmm.
And they notice this is why they start poisoning tobacco.
That's right. With 50 million chemicals when you can, but it tends to have less, right? Isn't that true? It has less.
It
No?
depends on who grow it. If it's growing through RJ Reynolds or any of those major tobacco companies,
Yeah.
they dust them with the uranium, plutonium, and all that BS.
That's why
But
why did they ban the Cuban cigars? Is that why they banned them? Because they're more pure?
no,
No?
the Cuban cigars was banned for economic reasons. They was trying to strangle the economics of Cuba
Okay.
totally.
Okay.
And
Strong
it wasn't just the Cuban cigars. Remember, Cuba was a primary exporter of sugar and pineapples.
Absolutely. Yes.
And
Yeah.
all of that was stopped under the embargo. They just now started relaxing the embargoes on Cuba in the 2000s. They've been under embargo since the 50s.
Yeah. And they still
That's
have,
why when you look like you go in a time warp when you go to Cuba.
oh yeah, it's amazing. It's a beautiful place to visit. And my grandmother actually was there. My mother's mother lived there for like 12 to 15 years. It's a
Mhm.
beautiful place. It's a
Yeah.
communist country. People don't realize it. They control the food, the distribution of the food, but the culture is still very intact.
That became a necessary part of government to control the food because when the embargoes was put on them, you got to remember when Castro and Camilo and Che Guevara took over Cuba, they took a lot of stuff from American mafiosos. One of the retaliatory things they did was burn crops.
Hmm. As a way to control the ability to be able to export it or import it or utilize it for their people.
Well, what they was trying to do is starve out the army, which is made up of the people in the grassroots.
Hmm. Hmm.
And they wanted they said, anybody know about guerrilla resistance around the world for the last 80 years? It's a term they use, beans and bullets. That means feed the people and protect the people. If you want to interrupt that, you have to interrupt either the firearm supply or you had to interrupt the food supply.
Hmm.
So like with Castro, one of the first things he did was seize the armories of the government so
Oh.
that they could have the weaponry to fight back.
Hmm.
And they was raiding government um, auxiliaries that housed the firearms to arm the soldiers to fight the resistance.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So um, the when they realized they got enough guns to fight us, so when they leave, okay, well, what's the next thing? Get rid of the food. So they was burning crops.
Hmm.
you know.
Kind of like what they're doing to us now.
Now they're getting rid of GMOs.
You think that's what it is? They're getting rid of all
They have to. They
yeah,
can't give it back to us with toxic food.
it's true. So
So
yeah,
for the last 3 years, you can look up chicken farms that have caught fire,
yeah, all the
um,
yeah,
slaughterhouses that then caught fire.
silos that were taken
Yeah,
out. Yeah.
yeah. All of these different stuff. So the farmer, it got two options. Government been subsidizing GMO foods, steroid-based foods, toxic foods.
Hmm.
Now, if you want to make money as a farmer, this stuff is no longer going to be permissible. You got two options. If you just stop farming and let it die off, you're going to go broke.
Absolutely.
But you got another option. You've been paying insurance for 80 years.
What?
You've been paying insurance for 80 years. Why not collect?
Oh, stop.
Not
Oh,
only that, you got to remember, FDIC is trying to patch all of the places the BRICS is forcing the US
oh
dollar out
yeah,
of.
absolutely. You heard of
So
yeah.
their insurance company is leaking bad. That's why they keep coming up with this 250 billion missing here and
Hmm.
100 billion. That's because they can't collect on the interest, or we call it inflation.
Hmm.
They can't collect on the inflation of the dollar when it's being forced back home and nobody's using it. The dollar is contingent upon circulation.
That's right. That's
This
what
is
they
what,
were stimulating. They were stimulating the economy. Yeah.
yeah. And so what do they do to stimulate the economy? They give out massive grants.
Yes.
They give out massive grants, but we normally didn't get the grants.
No. No.
When they created something called the United Nations, then they found out that they can create super grants if
Mm.
they gave it to foreign interests.
Entities. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is why you see every time something happened over here, they give Ukraine a whole bunch of money under the Biden administration.
Hmm.
They're circulating the dollar, trying to artificially float the system.
Interesting. And that's why also like when you in South America, you'll notice like in Ecuador, in Panama's starting to do it. Also, Argentina's starting to want to do it. They're starting to save the dollar. Like if you go and do your, it's called the blue exchange, you'll go and you'll give them they just want American dollars and they're stocking it. They're holding it in Argentina. They're just holding it because they want to use that currency.
Well, we gotta remember, Argentina will be all right if America stay out their business.
It's true.
They leverage was stockpiling the US dollar, the fiat.
Mhm. Mhm.
It stagnates the growth of the money because it has to circulate.
Yes. Yes.
If if you stockpiling it, you run it into it's like digging a hole, and the hole is so deep that no matter how much water you put in it, you never fill it up.
Interesting.
They digging a hole for the dollar.
Yeah.
They burying the dollar by
Yeah.
holding it. It's
Yeah.
like they holding us in reprisal for the debt, so they holding the U.S. dollar in reprisal for exploitation of their people.
Oh,
It's the
interesting.
same thing. It's just
Yeah.
it's a counterbalance.
Yeah. And did you hear what happened with China? China just made a big deal with Brazil, which is basically going to initiate a new bartering system. Um, that kind of puts the brick back on the table. I don't know that it'll happen, but they just made a big deal.
So the thing now is how are they going to do what they call international exchange of currency
Mhm.
if everybody's back to it's a one-to-one value everywhere you go? So they're trying to look at the stability of the economy so that when they set exchange rate, it should come out in the end a fair exchange,
Yeah.
equivalent exchange, not a superior or inferior.
Yeah, because $1 of US is about right now it's like 5.6 reais in Brazil. Yeah. So they're
They,
trying to
that
even
mean
yeah.
that mean their dollar is effed up.
Oh, it is. Like it's wonderful when you're here, but it's really terrible for them. It's not fair. You know what I mean? So That's interesting. So let's kind of turn the topic of discussion to what's happening. Did you I don't watch Super Bowls, monkey balls, you know what I mean? Balls of mass destruction. Everybody wanted to watch the Super Bowls, but Kendrick Lamar did
Mhm.
a performance, and I usually don't watch it the night of the Super Bowl because I don't want to get entranced by the socially engineered mind control programming. But I did get a chance to watch with the Zombies last night, or today rather, and I found it really fascinating. The things that he did during the Super Bowl, the imagery of the PlayStation with the X, and I'm going to ask you some questions because we came upon something like 4 a.m. with the Zombies. He had the X, the triangle, and the O. He had the PlayStation, because this is the game of the Matrix. Looking like a man, bleached skin. Did you not know that bleaching should be illegal? Come on now, like Mr. Serena. I don't know if her ball. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rod. Let me pull back. Let me pull back. Okay, I'm gonna behave myself. Okay. Okay, let's go to the performance. What do you think about the performance, Rod? Like, I thought it was really ritualistic. The words he was saying, I mean, I'm a big hip hop fan, but his verbiage was powerful. But there was some mind control programming in there. Can I get a little bit of a breakdown of what you perceive that ritualistic performance was
Well,
about?
first thing I gotta tell you is I didn't watch it. See, I still haven't watched it.
See, you're like me. Yeah, I didn't watch
I
it.
still haven't watched it.
Yeah.
The second thing is that the code didn't come out in the outcome of the game. It came out in the outcome of the performance.
What do you
And we
mean?
was expecting the Chiefs to win.
I wasn't, because I didn't expect them to win, because we found out that the Eagles was the year it was founded, the Eagles is a snake, and that the Hawks were a pig, and it's the enemy year of the pig. So I kind of presume that a snake team would win. So Philly, we kind of discussed it before it happened, so I assume Philly might win.
Yeah, well, most of us, because we've been watching the Chiefs, right? I was hoping that this